Also, I potentially have COVID. So I started developing a sore throat today. So I may cough quite a lot. So we'll soon see how that goes. But if I laugh, like lately when I've been laughing, it's been like, like I sound like, British trucker. So it'll be fun.
Little John.
Yeah. Welcome back, fans and people who clicked this by accident thinking it was the Season 2 trailer, to the Complete Guide to Horror Movies podcast. Today, we're talking Season 1 of the Chucky TV series, in which, after a vintage Chucky doll turns up at a suburban yard sale, an idyllic American town is thrown into chaos as a series of horrifying murders begin to expose the town's hypocrisies and secrets.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
This is a direct sequel series to the string of popular Child's Play movies in the 90s, and in recent years, the of Chucky direct-to-DVD films. BP, we'll start with you. What do you think about this TV series overall?
Well, after the disastrous 2019, that was Child's Play, which
Drag her! Oh my god, you're so ridiculous.
completely butchered in our last episode. This was a welcome return to what is Chucky. I actually really liked this series. When it got announced, I was worried because there are a couple other shows, or a couple other movies that sort of morphed into a TV show. Scream did it, which wasn't that great, and then I Know It Did Last Summer also did it, which wasn't that great either. Yeah, there is a show
about that one.
Yeah,
that one was shit.
Good.
Fucking
yeah. So like sort of the announcement for this was a bit sort of like, oh, this is interesting. I wonder how this is going to go. But yeah, no, I was actually really surprised. I really liked it. I appreciate that they got actors that are pretty much the age of 13, 14, 15 and actually were that age in the show, because there's not a lot of shows these days that are doing that. And you look up so like Riverdale, Justin, where they're probably like 30, but they're meant to be 18 in the show. Chucky, as ever, is likable. He's cute as a doll, but then just as savage as he was in the movies. But I think it was. I appreciate the way they did this. I think there was more time to explore key issues, particularly like around, I guess, Jake as sort of the main person in the show, with like his sexuality and like him into making statues and that sort of stuff, and then having like an abusive father and that sort of stuff. I appreciated that they went into depth, and I think it was well done. The kills were really good. I can't really fault it. I think it was good TV transition from the movie.
Yeah, I agree. For me, I was initially concerned as well, because with a TV series, it's either really, really good, or it can go that I Know What You Did Last Summer route, where honestly, we should probably do an I Know What You Did Last Summer TV series episode at one point, because that is, Jesus, I'm just going to save my anger for that one, but...
it's not good.
Yeah, like with the Chucky TV series, I felt it was more in line with the straight up horror elements of Curse of Chucky, but a little bit mixed in with some comedy from like Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky. I felt that Tiffany was used appropriately. Like, she wasn't in every single scene. She was used at the right points with the plot devices. And likewise, touching on with the main character whose name I've already forgotten, but I felt like
Yeah.
when they were dealing with these issues of sexuality, it wasn't so in your face and like, yes, queen, work, hunty. Like it was very natural. And I felt because of his
Right.
age as well, like it was very age appropriate as well, which I really like. I find that a lot of, and like this is my own 2 cents, but I find a lot of like gay themed media is like very over sexualized, very just. So I roll my eyes constantly when I watch something. It's like, yes, watch me twerk hunting. Oh my God, slay. And it's like, not everything needs to be a drag race quote, as much as I love RuPaul's Drag Race. But like for me, I was really surprised by this TV series. I felt that it kept me on my toes. I really liked that there was some really strong character development as well. But I will say it threw me for a loop that Devon Sawa, who is notoriously known on Instagram and Twitter as being like very queer friendly, like loves celebrating pride. He often shares memes where it's like Chucky with the knife and it says, respect queer kids or your pronouns will be was. Like he's just so fun with it. But to see him play like a homophobic douchebag, it's like, damn, I believe that and I don't want to believe it because I love Devon. Devon, what the fuck? Devon Sawa. But yeah. Coop, did you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I thought this show was quite a treat. I didn't really know what to expect going in. I remember hearing roughly about the same time as when that Child's Play remake was announced. I'd heard that Don Mancini was in talks for a TV show, and I think at the time, I could be wrong here, but I remember thinking that they were going to be named the same thing. I think at one point this show was going to be called Child's Play. As well. And I remember thinking, shit, I hope that, a big high budget modern remake doesn't sort of get in the way of that if it's called the same thing, but it's called something different and people seem to be embracing it as a different thing and understand that it's, Don Mancini who's doing this. So that's good. But yeah, no, it's really good. I feel like there's so many levels of things to enjoy in this show. There's, of course, you've got Chucky, who hasn't missed a step. It's it's still fantastic. But there's also, they did such a good job of the character development in this show, and I think that is helps the fact that it is a show as well. And as BP was saying, I had concerns as well, given that I'd seen some bits of that Scream TV show. And it's really bad. I was like, oh God, I really hope it's not going to go down that avenue where it's just, just your throwaway 8:30 on fucking NBM crime drama type bullshit. Like, that's not what I wanted from a Chucky TV show at all. But they've explored so many things. Like you mentioned, Justin, sort of the coming of age story of someone understanding their sexuality. Bullying is something that they've touched on heaps. And what's the character's name? Lexi. Sort of the social pressures of that. The fact that, there's been so many TV shows and movies that have touched on the bully is bullied and the bully's life sucks as well, all that kind of shit. But sorry. And I'm trying to think of sort of what else as a general thing on this. Yeah, as BP said, the kills are really good, really creative. And there is some bad acting in this as well. But for the most part, I think it's pretty good. It's pretty well paced, and it's just interesting to see Chucky played out in a TV show pace, and sort of let those stories grow kind of naturally. As you mentioned, Justin, Devon Sawa is in this. I didn't notice this the first time I watched this. I just thought this was just, it's some 45-year-old guy playing a mean dad. I had no idea. I didn't put two and two together that this was fucking what's his name in Final Destination?
Alex Browning.
Alex. I had no idea that it was Alex in Final Destination. I was like, what the shit? And then when I rewatched it, so it's not his dad, is it? It's his uncle that takes him in after his dad gets electrocuted. Is that who Devon Sawa is in the show? Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Watch. Yeah. See, there you go. Watch it again. It's not just some generic fucking 45-year-old bloody tanned man. It's Devon Sawa Get off the plane. It's that guy.
Ah,
Weird,
so-
hey.
mind blown. Okay.
So funny to see him play the dual characters as well, because
Yeah.
I thought, they look very
Was he playing-
similar because they're
were they-
brothers.
I thought they were different actors. Was he playing his dad as
that's
well?
What I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. he
What the
plays
fuck?
dad.
I thought they looked way too similar to be like,
Yeah.
Hollywood, baby. All white people look the same. That's just the way it is.
Like, he could easily be Devon Sawa or like, what's his name? Ethan Hawke, or like insert any other white actor.
Legit. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Like, it is such a mindfuck to think Final Destination 1 was released 22 years ago. And like,
Mm.
yeah, of course people age, but you still don't really put it together. They're like this like rugged, angry 40-year-old dad is the same teenage kid saying, the fucking plane's gonna explode. Like,
Yeah.
But that's even like Andy Barclay when I think I was watching Curse of Chuck, Curse of Chucky, what it was. When he rocked up, I had a mind blank as to who it was, and I was like, "Oh, that's Andy as a kid now grown up." But I don't really look at him and think he looks like him still.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, "Who's this old man?" Like, oh,
It was
Andy.
cool to see Kyle back in the show again.
Yeah.
yeah.
Back in the Chucky world.
Mm.
And I like that. I like that duo of Andy and Kyle going around and just killing Chucky dolls. And
That's actually
that's that scene where they go and ask like they're doing the census or something, like ask the questions, and then they just like shoot this doll, and then his whole family is scarred for life. It's excellent.
That's actually one of my favorite parts about this series is the fact that, yes, there's new characters. And I guess you could kind of say that this follows like the Scream route of the requel, in the sense that they bring the legacy characters back from Child's Play to, obviously there's no returning people from Bride of Chucky, but I guess you could count Tiffany in that same sense. Like, it feels like they brought the best of the best back from the previous movies, but it's still, you don't necessarily have to have watched every other previous Chucky movie to get the TV series.
For sure.
Yeah.
And, like, I remember watching the first 3 episodes with my 12-year-old sister who had no clue what Chucky was. Thought it was just like a relic of like the 90s or something. And she started watching Bride of Chucky and she's like, oh, that's the same doll. And I was like, yeah. Same Tiffany, same everything. And she's like, but Tiffany doesn't age. I was like, hey, that's just Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Fountain of Youth, wherever it is.
I guess there is one thing that could be kind of confusing to people, because I was watching this show with my partner and she hadn't seen Curse and Cult. So when Jennifer Tilly and Nika come into it, I had to kind of like pause it and sort of give her a backstory of like, oh, by the way, shit. And I didn't even realize that they were going to bring that back in. I was actually kind of like, when they brought back the whole several Chuckies thing, because I thought it was a bit tacky in Cult of Chucky, but I feel like they do a better job of it in this. I'm actually starting to like the idea of it. But yeah, that would be a little strange if you weren't heaps familiar with it. It's like, why is this woman in a wheelchair? Like,
Where did she come
half
from?
the time capable of walking when she's talking in a weird voice, and the other time she is in a wheelchair. Yeah.
There's that one part in the TV series where Jennifer Tilly cuts off Nika's limbs and everything and was like, yeah, well, Chucky possessed her, so we can't let her go away. And I was just like,
Yeah. I remember thinking, like, fuck, Nika's gone through it. That fucking, she just can't catch a break at all.
yeah.
The leg now. So.
It's like that part, and just like the overall general storytelling, which I felt was very appropriate for TV. It wasn't your typical Netflix show or typical, modern day show where every single episode has to end on a cliffhanger, or every single episode has to be, I find this trend now where it's episode ends on a massive cliffhanger and it's never really addressed in the next episode, or it's just like glossed over. Like, I'm going to talk about it again, but Riverdale does this a lot where, for instance, I think it was like the mid-season finale of season 3, the whole town goes into quarantine and the main characters nearly get shot because they're trying to get back into the town. And then the very next episode, which didn't get released for 3-4 months, they're like, yeah, the quarantine ended. And I'm like, what was the fucking point of having this huge quarantine setup if in 1 minute we just go back to normal? And I felt Chucky TV series avoided this completely, where it was very continuous, but they set up some plot threads where, you know, episodes 1 and 2, you'd see some of the more major effects carried out in episodes 6 and 7, but you're not like dying waiting for it to happen. It's just like, yep, that'll come around later. But
yeah, it's more like, where is this going to go? But speaking of like movies morphing into TV shows, the only other one I've seen recently, which I don't know if anyone has seen it, is the Purge TV show, and it's actually pretty good for what it is. Because the Purge movies have started to go off on their own tangent they work with, but it's interesting they went from the TV show, but I think after doing 8 movies, 9 movies now, it was probably time to sort of change it up and just maybe try the TV show route, because they probably looked at Scream, even though it's MTV and it was really bad, it did somewhat well and got renewed, I think, for another season. So I think there's 2 of that. And then The Purge got 2 seasons out of it. So yeah, I think I just like that they were able to take their time this time around, and actually it was like, 45, 50-minute episode.
yeah,
Were they? Yeah, or half an hour. No, 50 minutes.
I think they're an hour with ads. Yeah,
Which I like. We could get to tell the story a bit more proper. But yeah, I think most Chucky fans appreciated this as like the best route they should have gone after Child's Play remake.
Honestly, talking about like bad TV series, so I know what you did last summer, and season 3 of the Scream TV series. I don't know which one's worse because both are absolute shit, but seasons 1 and 2 of the Scream TV series, it's about a 4 out of 10. And then season 3 is like a 0 out of 10 for both I Know What You Did Last Summer and Scream, because none of it makes sense and nothing really gets resolved by the end. So I guess Amazon were expecting a season 2 of their like last summer series, but obviously that never happened. So it's just like, oh, okay, well, why the fuck did I waste all my time watching those episodes? I mean, to our listeners out there, you're better off just reading the Wikipedia plot summaries and you'll have a much more interesting experience. But anyway.
I think, I was just going to say, I think the issue with I Know You Did Last Summer was that I had trouble trying to identify what it was trying to be, because in some parts it seemed like it was a comedy and then it was a horror and then a thriller. And I couldn't take some things seriously in it, and it didn't really have a main focus as to what it wanted to be. Whereas like Chucky's sort of horror comedy, and they never really delved out of that in the TV show as well, which is good. So they kind of just kept it on track. But yeah, I Know You Did Last Summer, I think they just, there were some questionable sort of actors and like what they were trying to portray. And I'm like, it's not, they're not like pulling it off. They're not convincing me that they're actually being a police officer, but like the police officer, the mum in Chucky was convincing as being like interrogator.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So.
Did you, BP, did you have any particular favourite parts of the series at all with Chucky?
Nothing in particular that stood out. I think I just appreciated that it was actually like a watchable show, and each episode was quite enjoyable. It was sort of like, I can't really point out a bad episode out of any of them. Like I said, I like the kills. I liked the kill in the clinic where she goes out the window, which is sort of Final Destination 5.
And yet they repurposed that kill because that was in Child's Play 2 as well. So I was like, oh, that's a nice little throwback. Yeah.
But I do like the character development, especially Lexi, because I didn't like her. Probably in the first 3 episodes, I didn't like her as an actor or like in the show.
I wanted her.
and then by the end, you actually feel sympathy for her, because like her parents, just don't really have the time of day for her. And then you've got
mum Mare sucks.
Yeah. And then the sister, I'm like, does the sister have a disability or some sort of condition? Because she seems very like, I want Chucky. Like it felt very much like Veruca out of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when she wants the golden ticket. She's like, get it now. I want it now.
I don't think it's ever explained, but I feel like it's implied that that she has some kind of mental disability, I'm assuming.
Same with the
Um,
but,
And yeah, bloody mom. Oh, I just love that scene that you can be a mom or a man. I'm doing my best to be both. Oh my god.
yeah, overall, nothing I can really think. I just think it was quite a decent show, and I'm happy that they renewed it for season two. It'd be interesting to see, I guess, what new characters are being reintroduced. I know that Glenda was in that post not long ago. So, and there is mention of Glenda, I think, in the first or second episode, because Jake's asking. I think Chucky and Jake are talking about sexuality, and then Chucky says, "I have a son and a daughter." I think that's what he says.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says he says has a gay kid. Or was it gender neutral or
Yeah.
forget the exact term.
Yeah. And like when they talk about that, I think it shows Chucky's growth as well, because in Seed of Chucky, he's never like he says some horrible things to Glenn and Glenda. Like it looks like he fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down. But when it was like about like Glenda being a boy or Glenn being a boy or Glenda being a girl, it felt like he was more like that didn't phase him as much as him being like, but it's my boy. Like he wanted a son as opposed to having a daughter. Like you see that with like some videos online where it's like what do you call it? Those fucking white people things, the gender reveals, the fireworks. And like gets upset because he's having another girl, and it's like, why are these videos a thing? But no, I agree. Coop, did you have any particular favorite part of the series?
I mean, yeah, but pretty much what BP was saying as overall, with Chucky, the fact that it is both horror and comedy, and it can kind of bounce between those pretty seamlessly. There's a lot of heavy shit that happens in this show, but it still continues to be light enough to sort of bring you through it whilst also being really gory and horrible. It's just kind of really well done. I mean, especially when you look at the shit like what Lexi does at the school social or dance or whatever. I mean, that's fucking dark, man.
Yeah.
Like dressing up as someone's dying dad getting electrocuted. I mean, that is fucking disgusting. And the idea of the fact that Chucky's kind of trying to befriend these people and also trying to make them kill while also doing, literally killing all their parents, like as you mentioned before, like pushing the mum out the window and like landing on the son. I mean, that's again pretty fucking heavy, but it's still like such a light time and really, really easy to watch. They've added more to the rules of Chucky with the what's it called? The idea of if he gets into a human body, then he can then get into any human bodies and do whatever he wants, and then he's got an army. That's a new thing, but I mean, they've been doing that in Chucky movies for a while. I mean, there wasn't several Chuckies 2 movies ago even, so that you just kind of got to go along for the ride, I guess. But no, I thought it was quite enjoyable overall. I'm looking forward to season 2. I'm glad that people are receiving it well. And because it could have been even the way it is, people could have not understood it and not gotten into it and been like, oh, well, why isn't it like scary? It's Chucky. But like, I think people are more up to date and realized some of the last movies have sort of led in that direction, and that's kind of the obvious way to go. And what better way to flesh out the story than do it in a TV show?
I think, as I said earlier, the other thing that I appreciated was obviously the actors. I was actually genuinely surprised they were getting people, because I was on Wikipedia stuff at the same time when I was watching the first episode. I'm like, holy shit, they're actually like 15 years old or 14 years old in the show. So
good.
I actually props to them for actually doing that and not getting like a 25-year-old to portray a 14-year-old and clearly tell that they're 25. So I think that was even more convincing.
As I said before as well, like I like that it was age appropriate as well, especially in regards to the talking about the sexuality and coming of age. I don't think I have any least favorite parts. I felt that everything was paced correctly. It wasn't let's bring back every single character ever in the first episode. I felt that it was released at a not a glacial pace, but at a appropriate pace, so that everyone had their time for each episode, and that helped make it. There's no boring episodes, there's no filler. So I was pretty happy with it.
Fair enough.
So BP and Coop, as you both mentioned, season 2 feature the return of Glenn and Glenda. What I'm particularly looking forward to is the fact that it's Glenn and Glenda age. So the last time we saw these characters was when they had transferred their souls at the end of Seed of Chucky. And, it's like the British, kind Glenn was in a little 5-year-old version of Ed Sheeran. The Glenda character was this completely deranged, psychotic, also version of Ed Sheeran. But I was always wanting to see what would happen with those characters, because clearly there's going to be that dynamic and conflict between good versus evil with Glenn versus Glenda.
Yeah.
And what I really like as well is that when I saw I think it was on Jennifer Tilly's Facebook, it looks like Glenn and Glenda will be teenagers as opposed to fully grown adults. So for me, I feel like it's going to treat certain issues gender identity or non-binary and whatnot with a lot of respect, similar to how the first season was around sexuality, which we've spoken about quite a bit before. But I'm really interested to see how the surviving characters, I should say, from season 1 progress in season 2. But I have a feeling that Don Mancini is going to have some tricks up his sleeve. So maybe we might see more returning characters from Child's Play 1 to 3 or Bride Seed of Chucky. BP, we'll start with you. Do you what are your thoughts on season 2? Is there anything you're hoping to see?
Well, look, I'm hoping they, film it in Canada and it's shot in New York. No jokes. I don't do that. I don't know where it's in. Where is it filmed in? Hacky Sack.
New Jersey.
New Jersey. I don't know. It's interesting because there's really been nothing revealed about what's happening in season 2. The only sort of clue you get at the end of episode 8 is the shot of someone's arm on the tree when the kids are at the graveyard. And it's not revealed whose arm that is, but it's there, someone's watching them. Does anyone remember that scene?
No. One of the last things I remember is the Tiffany doll.
It's Jake, Lexi, and I guess the other person is someone else there at the grave, and then there's a shot of the teacher standing in the car, and then there's another shot that shows someone's arm.
That's right. There's someone else. Yeah. No, I don't remember that.
So I was I don't know who they're trying to say who that is. I was trying to do that. It looks figuring it's a guy, but I don't know.
That's his name.
Yeah, I don't know where they're going to go with this. It'd be interesting to see if they're going to keep the same cast or if it's going to be a different cast altogether. But like you said, Justin, if Glenn and Glenda are meant to be a teenager, I can see it happening where they'll probably, connect with Jake in his sexuality, and that will be sort of a thing. But I don't know where they're going to go from here with it. I mean, I guess it's just going to be a new detective comes in because the other one died, and they're going to start looking into it, and maybe there's going to be more killing, but maybe it goes to college or something. But no.
I have a feeling there might be some characters from, I was going to say Curse of Chucky, but nearly everyone died in that one. But Cult of Chucky with the Asylum, I feel like they might bring some side characters back, even if it's just for a cameo appearance in one episode, or they'll have to continue the storyline with Nika as well. Because last we saw, poor thing was pretty much a vegetable at this stage. No, there's no nothing. I do think it'll focus on Jake primarily, but maybe Lexi might get some kind of screen time as well. Yeah, I'm interested to see. Coop, did you have any thoughts on season 2 or what you'd like to see?
I hope it does continue with the characters, surviving characters of season 1 that have been established. I think it feels like they've put a lot of effort into their storyline. So it would be good to see that continue and play out. And from what I've seen, I think it's set to is it coming out around October, so around Halloween, I believe.
Yeah.
And from what I've been seeing on Don Mancini's and Jennifer Tilly's Instagram, It looks like it's going to be set around Halloween in the show. So I'm assuming maybe it's a year later, maybe it's 2 years later, maybe it's a couple of years later. I don't mind the idea of, maybe them in college, but I mean, how long ago was it filmed? Are they going to look old enough to be in college? I mean, that's the problem with age-appropriate actors, is that if you're filming something a year later that's meant to be 5 years later, it's going to look a little bit silly, isn't it? But we'll see how that plays out. I hope it's the same characters. I like the idea of Glenda coming back. That's going to be awesome. I like how they sort of hinted at it throughout the first season, sort of subtly, and then a bit more on the nose towards the end of the show. I liked that Tiffany as a doll made an appearance towards the end of the show, and I'm keen to see more of that in season 2. How many Tiffany dolls are there? Is there an army of Tiffany dolls? Is there going to be a Tiffany on Chucky war? Is it going to be like Freddy versus Jason? Who knows?
Maybe like Godzilla versus Kong, but like Tiffany versus Chucky.
yeah. Maybe it'll be like Transformers, and they'll all form like a giant Chucky and a giant Tiffany, and it'll be the fight for Hackensack.
Saving Hogwarts. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it'll just take bits and pieces from every genre and every little thing. But yeah, no, I'm keen. And from all the little shots and shit I've been seeing on social media, it looks like it's going to be a good time. It looks like they're putting the effort in. It's being filmed right now. Yep. And yeah, I'm very keen to see some more of this TV show.
Me too. Actually, you just made me think of a good point. With the aging of the, not the characters, sorry, the actors, I think because there's about 2 or 3 years between filming from season 1 to season 2, maybe they might just do a thing where instead of being in like, I don't know, year 8 or 9 in high school, which I don't know what the American equivalent is, like junior high or some shit, but maybe they might be senior year, High School Musical 3 senior year. I also wonder, will they go the route of using that really fucking shit de-aging process, which they used in that movie about the It Chapter 2. Like how I can't remember I think his name's Jack Dylan Grazer, who plays Eddie. They de-aged him, and you can tell that it's so awkward, and he looks kind of like Play-Doh. Like he's like, come on, look at this, and he's got like that what do you call it, the table tennis racket thing with a ball on a string, ball in a cup.
Sometimes the old-fashioned playthings are the best.
Hey, kids of America, it's hand-painted wooden ball in a cup. Who needs constant electronic video stimulation when there's ball in a cup? Mexico's favorite toy for over 340 years. Toss the ball, catch it in the cup, dump it out of the cup, toss it, and catch it in the cup again. The ball is on a string and attached to the cup, so there's no worry if you don't catch the ball in the cup, and cleanup is as easy as catching a ball in a cup. So why spend another day not catching a ball in a cup when you could be catching a ball in a cup?
Ball in a cup, ball in a cup, it's a ball in a cup. Ball in a cup, ball in a cup.
And it's like, dude, why is your face like warping all over the place? Like, this is a huge, $70, $80 million budget movie, and yet they couldn't spend all that time keyframing like 2 scenes that he's in. Just shit like that really irks me about Hollywood, because it's like, this wasn't like, I give Australian movies a lot of shit, but I feel like if they were doing something like that, they would do it right. Whereas America's just like, oh my God, who cares? Bill Skarsgård's an evil clown. Lol, the first movie made like 600 million. And
those movies are bad.
Did you hear about the TV show that's been announced?
What now? Don't tell me there's going to be an It TV show.
It's called Dairy or something.
Stop it.
There's been but it's set before It Chapter 1. I think it explores the events before it, and it didn't. When I read it last night, it just said no one's been confirmed, even what's his name that does Pennywise.
Yeah.
The problem wasn't him in that movie. Are we going to be doing it? Are we covering that movie? I might just save it for then. I've got a lot to say about that movie. So I might just leave it.
We probably will, but at the same time, so I've changed my tune over the years. When It Chapter 1 came out, I was such a huge fan from how close it was to the book, even though the book is like literally twice the size of the Bible. But no one could ever adapt a Stephen King movie properly unless you had like a full 6-season TV series. But
Yeah.
I liked the first movie. I watched it again and again. But the second movie, I remember when I watched it, I literally turned to my brother and said, "This is one of the best movies I've ever seen." And then 2 days later, I said, "I don't fucking know what the hell that movie was about. That was so stupid." And now if I try to watch It Chapter 1 or It Chapter 2, I get so bored and I think, no, I prefer Tim Curry as Pennywise by far. But
There's elements from both that I like that I kind of wish was in one movie, but like in It Chapter 2 in the new one, I still remember being in the movie and I turned to my friend and it was like 2 hours 20 into it and I'm just like looking at him, I'm like, is this still going? Like, what's going on right now?
yeah,
And it's like the scene where I think Pennywise is getting bigger or smaller, like that scene in the cave, and I was just like, what's going on? And I'm checking my watch and I'm like, why is it going for 3 hours for Chapter 2?
that ending, I'm sorry, I felt that the first movie really closely followed the book, like even specific things like Eddie with the leper. But the second movie, I didn't really understand it. The only thing they followed closely was the gay couple that get bashed and like murdered at the beginning. That was in the book. Everything was like as it was in the book. But
I didn't know that. They just did that for the kind of woke thing and whatever.
no, it was fully
Okay.
in the book and everything. And like Stephen King has come out and apologized and said, "Oh, I'm really sorry. This wasn't supposed to be like a homophobic thing. It was just that the book was released right at the height of the AIDS crisis. So what he does is he taps into like psychological fears and all that. But he felt that, upon reflection, that he was kind of like making things worse. But for me, any representation is good representation anyway, because, the whole conservative movement's trying to like minimize us and all that shit, which I'll go into a rant later on. But that fucking ending of that movie where they bully him to death, I was like, this is supposed to be a malevolent creature that can transform into fears, change environments, mind control everything. And you're telling me because they told him that he was a slut or whatever, that he died?
He was a slut.
I really don't understand it. And I'm like, is the moral of the film supposed to be bully the bullies? Because that never works. So I'm like, nah, fuck that. But like I think in terms of TV series adaptations, Chucky's right up there with the best of the best. I felt that has its own identity, still carries on the legacy of like not only Chucky himself, but many, many, many characters from all the previous movies. And I'm very excited for season 2. Usually I might only watch a couple episodes of a specific season, like adaptation, and then just go, I'm not watching the rest of this shit. But no, I think it was good.
Yeah, I'm hoping that like the way that Chucky was done, which is quite well done, is a hint that other people saw to make sure they do it as good as this. If Saw can be done like this in a TV show, then I think it'll be able to save the franchise, because I know they're talking about a TV show. So I kind of hope they get the right people and they're the next one to watch. So Chucky's a good example for anyone out there listening or doing movies, and do a TV show, do it like Chucky. Yeah,
that's a good point, because like to see sort of like a horror movie turned into a TV show done well, I mean, this is going to have knock-on effects, hopefully, and possibly negatively with some, because some may try and fail. But it's good to see that it can be done. And if the time's taken to do it properly, then it can be done properly.
Yeah. Well, I think that the issue with, like, I know I did last summer, was that it kind of deviated away from the movie origin. It kind of kept the same, but not really. And I think it kind of went too far left and not really on page with the movie. So it kind of lost viewers and just became confusing as the episodes went on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. If they ever do a Saw TV series, I want it to be kind of controversial. I want it to be entirely new writers, only because I feel like Josh Stolberg, the other guy, not even worth mentioning, no offense, but Jigsaw and Spiral were shit, as we say in our episode recaps, which you can listen to at any time. But, I feel like TV series are such a different format from movies. And like Don Mancini, I think this is his first TV writing credit as well, but I feel like he knew how to naturally adapt it to TV episodes. But Saw, I feel like they're going to go down this stupid path of like the cult of Jigsaw, or it'll be someone like
Saw Origin.
yeah, or like Saw Tropicana, no, but like Saw, like it's a new Jigsaw every episode,
Saw.
or a new game. Like I honestly, I wouldn't mind if it was like a new game every episode, but it's like the same Jigsaw killer throughout the TV series. But if they're going to do that, I would rather it be something like, you know, John Kramer's done plenty of other games before Saw 1. Like, discounting Jigsaw, I don't count that as like part of the continuation of the story or mythology, but, you know, there should have been plenty more traps before, like the razor wire, the bathroom trap, all that stuff. They could easily get, as we say, John Kramer, they could get Tobin Bell back. They don't even have to do de-aging or anything. He literally never ages.
Yeah.
You know, power of makeup, power of just like really nice color grading, and maybe bring Shawnee Smith back. I like her. I like Amanda, but yeah, we'll see.
We don't want Hoffman.
Yeah, fuck that shit, mate.
Actually, they'll probably save Hoffman for like the final episode twist, and then season 2 is going to be like Hoffman's bringing back unwinnable game, stuff like that. But,
Hoffman versus Jigsaw.
actually, I know we're going very off topic from Chucky, but I just wanted to read out this fan theory. So I was on Reddit the other day going through Jigsaw and everything. There's a fan theory that in Saw 3, because like we discovered that Hoffman was involved from the start, like with Dr. Gordon and with the Saw 3 games where he like tips the body out and John Kramer's like, have some respect. But what if it was John?
Just a human being.
Yeah. But I saw this theory, which was, what if it was Hoffman setting up the unwinnable traps and he was blaming Amanda for it? Because you know how like it was like Amanda set up the classroom trap and that was unwinnable because he couldn't get through the door. That was like, what's the word? Like or something.
Yeah.
Likewise with like Kerry and everything. All that Kerry says is you, like it's you or something. Like they never.
Yeah, she would have known both of them.
Like she would have never seen Amanda. I mean, it would have made more sense that it was Hoffman, but then like the whole twist with Saw 6 where he blackmails her into killing Lynn Denlin and everything. I'm like, that kind of ties into it. Maybe that's what the writers initially were going for, but I don't think they would have done that like as far back as Saw 3 because it was like new writers from Saw 4 onwards and it got really convoluted and everything. But that theory is like one of the stronger ones compared to some of these stupid ass ones where it's like, Adam's still alive. Adam got released. It's like his fucking corpse is in Saw 2. Like he's dead now. Get over it.
Anyway.
So, Coop, thank you both for joining me again today to discuss Chucky.
Thanks for having me.
Was always a pleasure.
Thank you. Listeners, in our next episode, we discuss Eden Lake, which is BP's pick of the month, a divisive entry in the horror genre with a twist ending. Bye.
She's walking over to me, this must be fake. My lip starts to shake. How does she know who I am? And why does she give a damn about?
I've got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden, baby. Come with me Friday, don't say maybe. I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby like you. Ooh.
I'm gonna go kill your sister. Wanna come?
I'm sleepy.
You snooze, you lose.